to 36, just 6 runs and over. So far, so good.
Thanks very much, Anthony. Charlie Harden will come in alongside me, Kevin James. I think it's literally about half what they got last night in Hove. It was certainly up around the 60s, maybe even touched 70 last night with Vince and Chris Lynn. But Chris Lynn not in the side today. He got a painful whack on the since January. So probably understandable that something has just twinged a little bit. You do the first one, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Kevin. What a pleasure. Pleasure to be back. Ali Orr fell after 2 balls, and then a good show of resistance from Toby Abbott with a few lovely, beautifully timed 4s. But Craig Overton starts his 4th here to Joe Weatherly. Bowls, and it's beaten him on the inside edge and has missed everything. And it will be a dot ball. But a heck of a dot ball, Kevin.
It was, wasn't it? That's nipped back. That's nipped back. These showers of rain that's got on the pitch before the covers got on has just freshened this wicket up a little bit, and it's made it. I mean, these bowlers do hit the deck. You know, the Matt Henrys and your Craig Overtons, they do hit the deck. They will find something.
Overton in again to Joe Weatherly, who's playing missing again. He's followed one. It's a beautiful out-swinging delivery on a good length. Joe Weatherly looks absolutely flummoxed, and he couldn't get anywhere near it.
Well, one's nipped back and one's just angled away. No wonder Overton's having a smile there. I mean, you want to roll this wicket up every day of the week.
Especially after a little bit of rain. Craig Overton turning at the top of his mark. Comes in again to Joe Weatherly, who's playing through the leg side. Another play and a miss. He's gone to work it with a closed bat face this time through mid-wicket. Again, another one that nips away, and Craig Overton is having the time of his life out there. He's 1 for 16 off 3.3, 3 dots, 3 playing and misses, 3 jaffers to start the over.
Awesome, yeah. That's a big leg break, that. You're struggling to get a bat on that.
As he stands ready again. Maybe another play and a miss to come, who knows. Craig Overton into Joe Weatherly, who works it into the leg side, a little bit lofted, but it will be 1 run, well picked up by the mid-wicket in the ring.
Well, there's some clues as to why James Vincent hasn't really been timing the ball so far. There you can just see Joe Weatherly, if you're watching the live picture feed there, just saying to James Vince, look, there's a bit of seam movement there, just outstretched right hand, just showing Vince that ball was seaming. I'm sure James Vince knows, he's been out there since the start.
Overton in again. Pushed into the offside, no run. Shows how well Toby Abbott batted and shows what kind of form he's in. Currently, as it stands, Vince is still out there, but Abbott is the top run scorer for Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, he timed it from the word go, really, didn't he?
He had 3 beautiful 4s. One where he kind of backed away and slapped it through extra cover. One down the ground. Got a bit early on a pull shot, but whacked Matt Henry back down the ground. That was a brilliant shot. Final ball of Craig Overton's over to James Vincent. It is no run. Brilliant start to the innings for Somerset. Craig Overton, Matt Henry and Riley Meredith have combined absolutely brilliantly so far. And Hampshire lie 37 for 2, going at just over 5 and over from 7 overs.
Well, I'll tell you what. As a batter, you'd be thinking, right, now where are we going to score these runs? Because Craig Overton is hard work, Matt Henry is hard work, and so is Riley Meredith. Now that's 12 of the 20 overs that are almost taken care of. So you've got to look around and say, right, who are we actually going to try and target here? I think if Lewis Goldsworthy comes on with his slow left-arm spin, I think they're going to go after him big time.
I agree. 2 for 31 in the last game for Lewis Goldsworthy.
Here's Meredith. Comes in, right arm, fast medium, and that's cut away. They're looking around And there's quite a few of them thinking, well, we're not seeing too much entertainment off the bat. But believe me, Somerset are bowling well. It's on a pitch which is giving them a little bit of help. So it's not that easy just to go over there, go out there and just sort of hit through the line of the ball willy-nilly.
Feels like an important toss to win as well.
Looks
I
like
think
it at the
Somerset,
moment,
with the
doesn't it?
bowlers they've got to go out there and bowl after a little rain delay. Still a little bit of green on that surface. Looks tough to bat.
Yeah, it's just freshened it up, hasn't it, really? Here's Meredith again from the pavilion end, comes in and bowls to Weatherly. Well, Weatherly gets one that goes through him. Kept a little low, actually. It's gone past the inside edge. Again, just a hint of movement from the ball. It is difficult. It feels actually it's more difficult out there now than it was in the first couple of overs.
Absolutely. I think James Vince wouldn't say so. I think he's been suffering a little bit throughout this whole inning so far. But we know how classy James Vince is as a cricketer. And he's got 227 runs, now 232 in this blast. So he's got some shots to come, that's for sure.
Well, let's hope so. He's being becalmed at the moment, but it's Weatherly that's facing. Meredith in again, bowl, slow ball, hook, tried to hook it. And that's not called a wide, it's called one for the over. That's a good bounce. That's a good length, actually. I know there was a bit of controversy earlier with Matt Henry's short ball. That didn't get up as high.
No, that was a good, well-judged bounce there from Riley Meredith, who we have talked about being the top wicket-taker for Somerset. He's also the second leading wicket-taker in the Vitality Blast, with 21 wickets in just 9 games. Now 22.
It's a good head of steam up, doesn't he? I mean, look at Banton, where he's standing. He is literally 2 yards inside that 30-yard circle. Maybe 3 yards by the time he gets down. Weatherly works it away on the onside. Goes out to deep square leg, but it's only a single. My word, it looks hard out there at the moment for Hampshire. 38 for 2. We're coming towards the end of the 8th.
These two just doing well just to hang around at the minute. There are times where T20 matches call for all guns blazing, however it is not that time, and actually it's really important that these two just stop a collapse, really hold up this innings for Hampshire, and maybe conditions should get a little bit better for batting throughout the innings.
Well, let's hope it doesn't wait until Somerset's reply. Being totally biased about it. Meredith in again, bowls to Vince. Vince works it up to mid-on. He'll have to hurry, have to hurry. Throw, underarm throw from Overton, misses the stumps. It might have been close.
This is the pressure they're building, Kevin. It's causing decisions like that to be made. Every single run matters out here for Hampshire, and it means they're going to have to take a few risks, taking some runs inside the ring. So Vince is currently sitting on 6 off 17 deliveries. He's going at a strike rate of 35. Joe Weatherly very similar. He's 3 off 10. And it looks incredibly challenging out there for the Hampshire batsmen. But they are 39 for 2 nonetheless, only 2 wickets down, and 8 overs have gone. So Craig Overton, a positive for Hampshire, has used up all 4 of his overs. He bowled a magnificent spell of 1 for 17. But on comes Ben Green.
Well, I think they are going to have to target him a little bit.
Absolutely. James Vince on strike to Ben Green. What could we see as he goes to hoik him over the covers? That's got through. I'm not sure if it'll reach the boundary. It will. 4 runs. An on-the-up cover drive from James Vince. Instantly, we can see their plans to Ben Green.
Yeah, you have to. You know, as a batter out there, you know, you can't just accept that, you know, 3 bowlers bowling 12 overs, you're going to struggle to get away. I mean, obviously you are, but you then have to go big on the others.
This is an interesting period where the temporary captain in Tom Calder-Cadmore needs to make a few decisions. Here we go, Ben Green again, this time whacking down the ground from James Vince, and it runs away for 4. James Vince really taking on Ben Green, putting the pressure straight back onto this Somerset bowler, where Craig Overton, Meredith and Henry have been building up the pressure. Ben Green needs to put a little bit of that momentum back in Somerset's way.
Well, there you are. You got your answer in the first 2 balls of this over. Vince targeting Ben Green.
He moves on to 14 off 19. Hampshire's at 47 for 2 off 8.2 overs. Vince again slashing to the deep man this time. Will be 1 run into the cover region. Just a kind of backward cut. Good cricket there from James Vince. 4-4 single. brings Joe Weatherly back on strike. Maybe he could take on Green with a couple of those slog sweeps as well.
Yeah, well, he's put the bowler under pressure, hasn't he? He's watched 3 bowlers get a bit of life out of this pitch and not go for too many, and here he is, 3 balls into his spell, and he's gone for 9.
Green in again, this time to Joe Weatherly, who just works it up to long on for a single. I think Joe Weatherly will be quite happy to play this role alongside James Vince.
Yeah, oh, definitely. James Vince might just have located the middle of the bat a little bit more than he was doing.
Yeah.
But that was so tough. I mean, that was a tough opening 8 overs. I mean, the last 2 overs have gone for 3.
Meredith and Overton combining beautifully after a couple overs of Matt Henry as well. It really didn't stop, but here's Ben Green again to James Vince, who's cutting through the offside. This is 4 straight away off the bat. Brilliant strike from James Vince, and he's showing his class and why he's the all-time blast leading run scorer. James Vince moves on to 19.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Green's not the same pace as the other guys on, so, you know, I say the only thing Ben Green offers you is subtle changes of pace. But you know, as a bowler, you know, I think most people in this situation would think, right, we've got to go after him.
14 off the over so far. 1 ball to go. Ben Green punched into the offside, and Vince keeps the strike for the next over with a single out to deep cover. 54 for 2. 9 overs gone. 15 runs from that first over from Ben Green, and a little bit of pressure release for the Hampshire batters, and signs that outside the 12 overs from Meredith, Henry and Overton, maybe there's some runs to get in those other 8 overs.
Yeah, now here's Lewis Goldsworthy with his slow left arm, so he'll be the other one that they'll target. Overton 4 overs, 1 for 17, great spell from him. Matt Henry 2 overs, none for 14, 2 more from him. And Riley Meredith has also got 2 more overs to come, 2 overs, 1 for 7. So Green and Goldsworthy charged with the task for Somerset to try and keep the runs down. As far as Hampshire are concerned, this next little spell with these 2 bowlers is quite important.
Crucial.
So he's bowling from the pavilion end. Vince is looking around the field, finding the gaps before he's even played. That's way outside off stump. I think Goldsworthy thought Vince was going to come down the wicket. He's called a wide. Vince almost had to run over to the offside to let it go. That's how wide it was. I think Goldsworthy's very aware they're going to look to get after him as that's hit off the back foot, but only finds extra cover. Kohler Cadmore throws the bowl into the keeper.
You must feel that on this skiddy surface, it must be down the ground. Looks like to be a good option.
Yeah, well, they've got that covered. It needs to be a strong hit, doesn't it? Vince cuts that away, misses, or maybe he's got an edge. It's gone past the gloves of Banton. It's racing down to 3rd man. That'll be 4. Just the thinnest of deflections, just enough to take it past Banton's gloves.
Valuable runs there for James Vince. Hampshire gaining 4 off the edge of the bat. Let's have a little look at this one. Yeah, it has definitely taken an edge there off James Vince's bat. That's what comes on this skiddy surface.
Vince moves on to 20 from 23. Here's Goldsworthy again around the wicket. Vince drives up to deep mid-off, jog through for a single. And Hampshire move on to 59 for 2 now in the 10th over. It's been a pretty slow process so far against some very good bowling. The sunshine is out. Perfect weather this afternoon now. Weatherly cuts but finds backward of point.
He'll be a little bit frustrated with that. It was a short ball from Goldsworthy, and Weatherly will be looking to rotate the strike every single ball if he possibly can.
Goldsworthy again. Weatherly gives himself some room, just guides that to backward a point. But again, Ben Green fields well. And there is no run. 1 ball left of the 10th over. So we've already had the women's game this afternoon. A win for Hampshire in the last over. Can they make it 2 out of 2 as Weatherly cuts that away to backward a point? There is a fielder out there. Weatherly will pick up 2. That ends the over for Goldsworthy. Apart from the wide and the first ball, off the bat it went for 7. And Hampshire move on to 62 for 2 at the halfway stage.
Not a bad start that from Goldsworthy. We predicted maybe a little bit more intent from the Hampshire batters there. However, a few dots in the middle of the over as Goldsworthy bowled well to his field meant that we go to the other end with still a little bit of pressure on the Hampshire batsmen. 62 for 2 off 10 overs. Vince is back up to a strike rate of 1 a ball. He's made 25. Weatherly at the other end is on 6 off 14 deliveries. Who do we see coming on now, Kevin? Tom Lammonby. Took a few wickets in the county championship game here earlier in the season, rather unpredictably.
He does get some shape on him.
He does, and he's in for Lewis Gregory. The captain is ill today, so Tom Lammonby begins his spell. Runs in, left arm over the wicket. James Vince cuts really fine down to the third man boundary for 4. Looks like an edge. I don't think he quite meant it to go that fine. However, that's the second 4 off the fine edge of James Vince's bat. He moves on to 29.
It's a very wide delivery, that one, to start off with. Yeah, they're missing a bowling option now with no Lewis Gregory. I think ideally Gregory coming in behind the other 3 that bowled up top, that really would have made things difficult.
Lammonby in. Pulled away by James Vince hard. Will go straight to the fielder, deep square leg. 3 men out on the leg side here for Somerset. Deep square, deep mid wicket and a long on. And it looks like for Joe Weatherly the long off is coming inside the circle. And we've got a short fine leg, a short third man. Both umpires are in the colours of Somerset. So it makes it a little bit tricky to see who's fielding where. However, Tom Lammonby comes into bowl. 5 off the first 2 balls. Weatherly cutting inside edge, almost plays onto his stumps, plays through to the keeper for no run. 67 for 2 here for Hampshire, 10.3.
Yeah, missed out a little bit there, Joe Weatherly. Perhaps the ball didn't quite bounce as much as he thought it was going to.
He hasn't quite been able to latch on to too many of these short deliveries so far. As he stands ready, bat highly raised behind him. As Tom Lammonby throws the ball out completely accidentally, and it probably takes about 10 bounces before it reaches Joe Weatherly.
What is going on there? I think he's trying to transfer the ball from his right hand to his left hand at the last minute, and it's just bobbled out. How weird is that?
Is that gone down to the dot?